Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back. Welcome back to my channel. I've been gone for like 10 months or whatever, but I am back. You guys could see by the title, I had another baby. Yes, I was blessed. God blessed me with a baby girl. So that is why I've been gone for so long. But I'm back. I'm back. And I have her right here on my lap. She's not feeling too well because she had her shots yesterday. So if you hear breathing, sucking on her pacifier, whining, crying, bear with me. And if it bothers you, tune out and just not watch the video. But anyway, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my pregnancy story and labor and delivery story. So it's like a 2-in-1. I'm going to try to keep it short, give you guys a summary of where I've been in my life. Found out I was pregnant in December, a couple of days before Christmas, a couple of days after my birthday. I was engaged and you know, things happen, things didn't work out. So I ended up going through my pregnancy alone. And yeah, you know, shit happens. So let's talk about my symptoms, right? I know for a fact I was having a girl because I was so sick. I was throwing up everything that I ate, that I drank, the air that I breathe, I was throwing it back up. Everything. And I was just like, yo, this has to be a girl, because when I was pregnant with Prince, I did not vomit, not one time. Probably one time because I was hungry and I didn't eat. My daughter, what? She had me on the toilet every single day. Okay. And one thing about me, if you don't know me very well, let me tell you this. My biggest phobia, fear, cringe is vomit. I don't like to see it. I don't like to hear it. I don't like to smell it. So when I was throwing up, it was like I was traumatizing myself because I had to see it. I had to deal with it. I had to clean it up. No, like I just had to live with it. Like it's like shit. I'm pregnant. This is morning sickness is like the #1 symptom of pregnancy that I didn't experience with my son. So this was all new to me. And I was just like, what is this? This is not it. I ended up going to the hospital for the vomiting and I was prescribed this medication. I'm going to put it to the side. I would vomit like 5 times a day, even wake up in the middle of the night to vomit. So they prescribed me 5 bottles to last me my whole pregnancy. And then come out the hospital and catch COVID. I caught COVID a week after Christmas, like right between Christmas and New Year's. And I couldn't tell if it was COVID or the pregnancy that was making me feel so weak, tired, and nauseous. And the vomiting lasted for a really long time. I remember exactly the 17th week, I was done vomiting. I did not vomit at all again. Another symptom I had, you guys are probably gonna look at me funny, but I had Charlie horses. And it was so bad. Like I would get it occasionally throughout my pregnancy. So that was not fun. It's very painful. Like I couldn't even stretch. If I stretched the wrong way, I knew for a fact like, yo, I'm gonna get that Charlie horse. Especially if I'm asleep and I have to stretch. I would catch myself in my sleep and be like, girl, do not stretch. Because if you stretch, you already know what it's hitting for. You know what it's hitting for. Another symptom that I had was dizziness and faint spells, okay? I have really bad anemia, so my iron levels was at like a number 7 or something. But I also have alpha thalassemia, which is a type of anemia besides the iron deficiency. That is more genetic. People in my family had to have that anemia. So I was fainting, feeling dizzy. One time at work, I had to get like an IV at the beginning of my shift. And that's really how it was for me. That was reality. Like I could not leave my house in the morning without having to stop, without having to call the ambulance, without having to pass out. It was always that. And that started in my 2nd trimester. Okay, so my 1st trimester was mainly just the vomiting. My 2nd trimester, it was the dizzy, and the 3rd, the dizzy spells. It was killing me. Oh, also, how can I forget this? Heartburn. I could not eat a pizza, spaghetti. And if you know me, you know I love me some pasta. I can eat spaghetti all day, every day. Eat lasagna all day, every day. anything with cheese, sauce, and meat, I could eat it all day, every day. But when I was pregnant, I couldn't, because guess what? The heartburn was killing me. Even drinking things that was like acidic, like orange juice, like I couldn't, because I would just feel the burning sensation just up and down, and it was just torture. Anyway, my craving, number one craving, was ice. I have not had a bad craving like this with Prince, but I loved ice. From the moment I had the morning sickness, like ice would help me with being nauseous, and then ice would help me with getting dizzy. Like sometimes I would eat a cup of ice with my breakfast and a beverage. And I don't know if it's a mental thing, but the ice really did help me cope with the pregnancy. Like I used to just munch on ice all day. But yeah, that was my pregnancy, I guess, story. I don't really want to get too detailed because the sun is going down and I'm trying to make this a 2-in-1 kind of video. So that's what I went through in my pregnancy. Like the symptoms weren't that bad, but they were like, I didn't have that many symptoms, but the symptoms that I did have was kicking my ass. Like it was doing me bad. It was hard. So let's talk about when I went into labor before it gets dark. Let me put my daughter down because she sleeps. She's knocked out. So yeah, she's like on the bed right now. First of all, me and my family was dreading this pregnancy. Like my mom and my dad was like, yo, you need to have your baby so you can get back to normal. We want to meet the baby already. It's time to like just not be pregnant, because I became miserable. Like I had perinatal depression, like depression during pregnancy. It was really bad because of the breakup that I was going through, being a single mom on my own, working 12-hour shifts at my job and being tired, and then the sickness and the passing out. It was just so much that I was dealing with all together that it made me such a dark, sad person. Sometimes I wouldn't show it, but my parents, the people that created me, of course, they obviously knew and seen like, yo, this is not, you know, regular me. Like I need to like just come back to normal already. I would go to my parents' house every single weekend because I hated being home by myself with my son. It just reminded me of this big happy family that I wish that I had, that, you know, like I said, shit happens and it wasn't gonna happen for us, but I just wasn't used to living by myself and then being pregnant and alone and all the emotions. I was, you know, being a mommy and daddy's girl every single weekend. One day, me and my mom was driving around running errands. On the 11th of August, I had like this gush. TMI. If you are a male, if you are my dad, if you are a family member, if you are somebody that knows me personally and you don't want to get into the TMI, then skip this part. Please skip it. I had this big gush of water, just like, not a huge gush, but it was just going through my outfit, and I was wearing this. I was wearing this outfit. I was wearing the same outfit. It's a onesie. So I'm like, Mom, like, I think my water broke. I feel like this water and this hot water just, you know. And she's like, Keisha, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, Mom, my water broke. I think it's dry. And then I was having contractions at the same time, like the Braxton Hicks contractions, whatever. I was feeling it. So when we got back into my mom's car, I'm like, Mom, look. I'm just like, I opened my legs. I'm like, look. And she's like, oh yeah, I see it. All right, let's hurry up and get home so you can go to the hospital. Call the hospital. They're like, oh, if you think your water broke, please come in immediately. And then it happened again, but it wasn't as much as before. So I goes to the hospital, getting all excited. They doing the swab for the amniotic fluid to make sure my water broke or not. And my water did not break. Oh. So mind you guys, I was gonna do the midwife's brew. I was gonna do so many things to get my labor kicking and running so I could have my baby. It just was not happening. So I was already in labor. I was losing a lot of mucus plug for like 2 weeks straight. It was like so much. And with my son, I only lost my mucus plug twice. A couple of days before he was born and a day before that I went into labor on Thanksgiving. So when my daughter is like, okay, I keep losing my mucus plug, but this doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going into labor because I've been losing it for so long. When I had this gush of water come out, I'm thinking like, all right, now it's time, but it wasn't. So it's crazy. My dad picks me up from the hospital. I'm so disappointed, and like I feel like crying because I'm just so over the pregnancy. I'm like, I'm ready to have my baby, and I'm ready to start this new life and just have a brand new start and just be happy again. Then it's Sunday. I'm going back home, and my dad was telling me, like, you're not gonna have this baby until somebody's at work. You're not over here. You're all the way at home. And I'm like, Dad, don't say that. So, yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Monday, the next day, the August 15th, I'm like, I'm gonna do these squats. That's gonna get this baby out of me. I don't care what I gotta do. My son has like this bouncy ball. I was bouncing on his little bouncy ball. I did not care. Like, it was a yoga ball, but it wasn't a yoga ball. It's a toy for a 3-year-old. And I was bouncing on there. I was stretching. I was drinking tea. Not raspberry leaf tea. I was just drinking regular tea. And I was doing everything that I possibly could to break my water. So that same night, transitioning into Tuesday, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. Same time that I went into labor with my son, I went into labor with my daughter. Oh my God, I had the worst contractions. Okay, the worst contractions. And I remember that day when I thought my water broke, that Friday. My mom told me, like, if you were going into labor, you would not be able to stand, speak, this, that, and the third. But when I went into labor with my son, it was bearable. The contractions was bearable. So I'm like, maybe it's bearable this time. But let me tell y'all, the contractions was so bad. I was having contractions from 10 at night to 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, you know what? I can't. I'm sorry, God, Mom, Dad. I'm about to wake up everybody because I'm going into labor right now. Okay, it is my due date. It's August 16th at 2 something in the morning, and oh my God, I'm so scared because these contractions are killing me. All day today, I've been doing the activated labor stretch and workout. I'm getting these really strong contractions. First, it's like every 10 minutes. And then another one will come in 3 minutes, and then back to 10 minutes, and then back to 3 minutes. I feel really nauseous, and I'm bleeding. Not like profusely, but I try to lay down. See what happens. Oh. Okay. All right. So that was a contraction I was waiting for. Every 2 minutes, like every 10 minutes on the 2-minute dot. Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, it's 2:12 right now. So I'm going to have another one at 2:22. And then 2:32, 2:42. And then hopefully they get closer faster. So that way I could hurry up and call my parents and call the hospital. I don't know if I should. I'm so out of it right now. I'm trying to vlog. Everything is killing me. Everything is killing me. Oh man. She's coming. I'm just waiting for the time to get a little closer. Like I said, I'm a single mom. I live by myself with my kids, and it was just Prince at the time. So I needed my parents to meet me at the hospital so my dad could take Princeton and my mom could, just be with me while I'm there. So when I called my mom at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, first I text her, and then I'm like, I'm gonna call. So I'm like, Mom, I'm having contractions and I'm going into labor. And she's like, are you sure this time? So I'm like, yeah, Mom, my contractions are 2 minutes apart. So I'm getting Princeton dressed, and every 2 minutes that pass by, I'm stopping and I'm gripping onto things. So when the EMT got to the house, they're like, oh my God, your contractions. She's coming. So I'm thinking I'm about to start pushing my baby. I was expecting to have a VBAC. So I was expecting to get ready to push. I get to the hospital. They triage me. I'm having the worst contractions of my life. I'm like, help me. And then my son is right next to me, my 3-year-old, and he's just so confused. He's tired. I woke him up out of his sleep, and he just sees his mom like screaming in pain. So they finally checked my cervix, and I went into the hospital at 7 centimeters dilated. Who with me? Who is fucking with me? Okay? Like, I really held it like 7 centimeters. That's 3 centimeters away from pushing. I definitely got that epidural though. So let me tell y'all, it was time for me to get the epidural, my dad gets Princeton, my mom stays with me, and it's time for them to put the IV in my arm. I have a damaged vein currently right now because of the hospital. They damaged my vein with the IV, and I had to keep my arm straight. You mean to tell me I gotta keep my arm straight for the whole 3 days that I'm in the hospital? I gotta give birth with my arm straight. I gotta nurse my baby with my arm straight. That did not happen. So I was bending and whatever, and it damaged my vein. So back to the epidural. It was time for me to get the epidural. First of all, the lady was mad rude, coming in the room talking about some okay, so obviously you already had a baby already, so you know how it is, how it works. I'm like, run that back. Run it back again. She had an attitude too, and that's another reason why I was like, run it back, because okay. So she explained it, and then she doesn't even put the epidural in me. Like, she doesn't even do the procedure on me. She calls somebody else to do it because she can't get it right. So, mind you, it took 45 minutes. I got stuck 5 times. Do you guys know how long an epidural needle is? Let me present it to you. 5 times. And I'm having contractions in between. So, when they don't get it right, it's like they gotta wait for my contraction to pass. Mind you, I'm also bent all the way over, leaned on my stomach. Then the anesthesiologist had the nerve to say, oh, I don't know what's wrong with your spine. I do 1,000 epidurals a day and I don't know what's wrong. What? It's my fault because you can't do your job right? And I've been sitting here for 45 minutes straight with contractions back to back, and you trying to sit here and blame me? And I'm the one getting poked? I was really getting upset. And then my mom had to stand in the hallway. So me and her making eye contact, and we're communicating, looking at it, giving each other the eyes like that. We're just communicating with our eyeballs, like what is going on? Like, what's happening? Right, my mom comes back into the room. We took a nice little nap. I'm stuck at 8 centimeters. My daughter's heart rate keeps going down. It goes going down, it's going down. Now it's like morning time. It's not even the middle of the night no more. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, all right, mom, I think I gotta push. And she's like, how do you know? I swear to God, this is what it's really like talking to my mom. She's like, how do you know you gotta push, Keisha? I'm like, Mom, I feel it in my butthole. I feel like I have to push. So she's like, all right. So I call the nurse. They check me. My water broke like an hour later. I felt like I had to push. So they came to check me again, and they're like, nope, you're still stuck at 8 centimeters. But the further her head gets down, the more her heart rate drops. And she's not happy with the position she's in. They were basically monitoring her heart rate, and like every doctor and nurse kept coming in like, oh, it's this big word they were using, but every time I would have a contraction, her heart rate would just go down so much. We resumed our nap. So I'm like, Mom, I wake her up. I'm like, I have to throw up. Can you pass me the bucket? She's like, are you sure you have to throw up? How you know? Maybe it's your heartburn. I'm like, Mom, no, I gotta throw up. So she gets me the bucket, and I just like start wilding. They come back, they check me, they're like, okay, you're still stuck at 8 centimeters, and the baby's heart rate keeps going down. You're gonna have to do a C-section. And I lost my mind. Like, I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be pushing. I'm supposed to have a VBAC. I signed the waiver saying if anything happens, I'm aware of it, that I could lose my life from having the C-section and all that stuff. So we go into the room, and my mom is in the room with me, the operating room. So I'm just laying on the table shaking. I was just trembling, and I'm like, I asked one of the doctors, I'm like, why am I shaking so much? He's like, well, number one, you do have anemia. Number 2, you have a lot of medications inside of you. And number 3, you are naked. But I was awake during the whole C-section, during the tugging, during everything. They were talking to me, trying to help me feel better. My mom was like very supportive. Like she's always supportive. But when I tell y'all, she worked the night before. This was her day off, her only day off during the weekday. And she was in the hospital with me for 14 hours. 14 hours, guys. Like, come on. So after the baby was born, I heard her cry as soon as she came out, and I started bawling, crying. And my mom's like, why are you crying? And I'm like, I'm so happy. Yeah. But she held my daughter, and yeah, off rip, my daughter was like, because you know when a baby's hungry, they just keep turning to the side looking for a booby. So after giving birth to her, they moved me to this room where I had to sit and I had to wait until the medication worn off. They moved me to my postpartum room, and recovery, it was nice. It was easy. The only thing I didn't like is that you have to share a room. Luckily, I didn't share my room with no one. The nurses was nice. I recovered pretty fast. They made me get up the next morning and walk and sit and stuff like that. So I became like really active and mobile. The food was great. The hospital food was good. Like I had some baked chicken, mashed potatoes, broccoli. If y'all know me, y'all know I love me some mashed potatoes and broccoli. Sure did. The breakfast was nasty. They gave raisin bran and 2 pancakes and a syrup with some milk and some coffee and an orange. Like the breakfast was cheesy. But when they gave scrambled eggs at one point, and I bodied them scrambled eggs. Like no salt, no pepper, no cheese, but I sure did eat it. So, and then the breastfeeding part, hi. She's looking at me like, Mom, you chatting. The breastfeeding went well. Like I breastfeed my daughter and I pump in between breastfeeding her. So when I'm at work, I'm pumping. When I'm home, I'm nursing. When I have company, I pump. When I'm at my parents' house, I pump. Sometimes I nurse. So it's been, postpartum been going great. Like I've been emotionally, I feel secured. I feel content with myself. I feel happy. I'm just enjoying motherhood. I'm getting my life back. I'm back to work. I'm just enjoying living life peacefully. I cut off a lot of people. I'm just happy. Like this pregnancy, I learned a lot through it. I learned how to be strong as an individual. Like if I had no one else in my life, how would I maintain? Like, and I had the best support system. Let me tell you guys, like my parents were everything. Like emotionally and mentally, I was with them once a week for a couple of days, like for the whole weekend. I was always at my parents' house, and they helped me financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, bought things for the baby, bought things for me. Like really, they really nurtured me. I could say, like, if I was able to sit in their lap and for them to rock me, like I would say like that's what I experienced, because I didn't need help from no one else but having the support that I had from my parents. It was wonderful. So now I'm actually happy. I do have my moments when I am sad, and you know, my hormones is still around and kicking and stuff like that. Kicking like it's a baby, but my hormones are still around. So I do have my moments when I become sad, and you know, I'm not motivated for the day, but then I open my eyes and I realize like, yo, I really went through all of this alone, and I faced it and I did it, and I'm a mother of 2, and I'm blessed, because when I pray to God and I ask him for something, he delivers. He always delivers. When I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, I prayed. I'm like, God, please let it be a girl. And what God did, he let it be a girl. When I found out I was pregnant with Prince, I was like, God, please let my first child be a boy. And guess what? My first child was a boy. So it's just, I just feel blessed and happy that God really put me through certain scenarios and situations so I could learn and become a strong individual and a strong mother. Like, I'm raising a boy and a girl, and I don't have any siblings of my own, so seeing them grow up together is gonna be like the best thing I could have ever witnessed in my life. Being able to experience raising a young man and a young lady is a blessing. It's like the best of both worlds, honestly. And I couldn't ask for more. So it's getting darker and darker, and it's real foggy, and it looks like it's about to rain, and I gotta go make dinner real soon and wake my son up from his nap. So that sums up my pregnancy and labor and delivery story 2 in 1. I know it was kind of short and all over the place, but I wanted to make it quick, and I really wanted to come back to YouTube because I missed you guys, and you guys are still in tune with my videos. You guys are still watching me, and I appreciate it. And y'all still subscribing, like what? So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your family and friends. And if you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post a video. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.